1950s presentation design tips. What I'm doing with this presentation is showing you how to not only make a better presentation that is entertaining to your viewers, but also how to increase the likelihood that your viewers actually learn from the presentation that you are presenting. I'll do this by showing you various samples and then also demonstrating how to make a non-interesting presentation or slide more interesting. First off, this is an example of what not to do. Imagine if I presented you guys this project starting off this way. All you hear is project, and you're experiencing what's called cognitive overload. I put all these images here to try to excite you and send you in different directions that you could take to do this project. But instead, you really don't see any of this. You don't take anything in. It was a waste of time. It'd be better for me to present a project to you like this slide here. American Life and Culture, 1950s, presentation project. The project definitely symbolized by the monster here. The woman screaming is the students thinking of the idea of having to do a project. Here's another example. You have 7 pictures, 4 different topics. As students, I doubt you'd be able to take any of this information in and really learn from this presentation. It's just too much. This following slide here is an example of what a student turned in a couple years ago. You'll notice 3 pictures. As far as their presentation, it really doesn't catch the eye. It looks cluttered. And then you have bullet points and a load of information that the student at the time just read word for word to the class. So what I'm going to go through is how to take this slide here and 1, make it more visually appealing and entertaining for your viewer, and then show you 2, how to increase the odds that maybe your viewer will actually learn something from your presentation. The steps I'm going to use, I'm going to call the rules for slide design. Pretty simple. Keep it simple, and don't assume that your audience knows anything about the topic you're presenting. So, going back to this slide here, I'm going to do this same thing here, but I'm going to do it in a more interesting fashion. The notes the student took here were great. The information's good, but it's how they presented it in this form that just doesn't work. Here's how I would do it. After World War II, American manufacturers returned to producing goods for the American consumer. In the 1950s, the average middle-class American was able to afford a car. And by 1958, 67 million cars were registered in America, 42 million more than in 1950. The cars and the culture that came to surround them made a lasting impact on American society and opened opportunities for business and advertising. Cars in the 1950s reflected the beginning of the space age, with body styles that included large tail fins, large amounts of chrome, extravagant taillights, wraparound windshields, hood ornaments, and colors like pastel blue, pink, and green became increasingly popular during the 1950s. The most popular cars of the time period was the 1956 Chevy Impala, the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado, and the 1957 Thunderbird. So, wrap things up. Keep in mind when making your presentations that you want to keep it simple and don't assume anything.